Hey there, fellow history buffs and curious minds. Have you ever wondered about the life of one of the world's most iconic freedom fighters? Today, we're diving deep into the incredible story of Nelson Mandela. From his humble beginnings to becoming South Africa's first black president, Mandela's journey is nothing short of inspiring. So, sit back, grab a cup of tea, and let's explore the life of a true legend. Nelson Mandela was born on July 18, 1918, in the village of Mvizo, South Africa. His birth name, Ralilala, means troublemaker in Xhosa, a fitting name for a future revolutionary. Mandela grew up in the rural village of Kunu, herding cattle and living a simple life. At just 9 years old, his father passed away, changing the course of young Nelson's life. He was adopted by the acting regent of the Thembu people, Chief Janjantaba Dalindibo. This move exposed Mandela to a world of tribal politics and leadership. As a child, Mandela attended local missionary schools. He was the first in his family to receive a formal education. In 1939, Mandela enrolled at the University of Fort Hare, the only Western-style higher learning institute for black Africans in the country. It was here that he first became involved in student politics. However, his involvement in a student protest led to his expulsion in 1940. Mandela moved to Johannesburg in 1941 to escape an arranged marriage. He found work as a night watchman and later as a law clerk. While working, he completed his bachelor's degree through correspondence courses. In 1943, Mandela enrolled at the University of Witwatersrand to study law. It was during this time that he became actively involved in anti-apartheid politics. In 1944, Mandela joined the African National Congress, ANC. He helped form the ANC Youth League, pushing for more radical and African-centric policies. Mandela quickly rose through the ranks of the ANC, becoming a national leader. In 1952, he was chosen to lead the Defiance campaign against apartheid laws. This campaign of civil disobedience brought Mandela to national prominence. The South African government responded to the growing resistance with increased repression. In 1956, Mandela and 155 other activists were arrested and charged with treason. The infamous treason trial lasted from 1956 to 1961, ending with the acquittal of all defendants. During this time, Mandela married his second wife, Winnie Madikizela, in 1958. Following the Sharpeville massacre in 1960, Mandela and other ANC leaders decided to form a military wing. This group, known as Umkhonto we Sizwe, Spear of the Nation, engaged in sabotage against government installations. Mandela secretly left South Africa in 1962 to gather support for the armed struggle. He received military training in Algeria and met with African leaders. Upon his return to South Africa, Mandela was arrested and charged with illegal exit of the country and incitement to strike. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison. In 1963, while still in prison, Mandela was brought to stand trial again in the infamous Rivonia trial. He and his co-defendants were charged with sabotage and conspiracy to overthrow the government. In his famous speech from the dock, Mandela declared, "I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society. It is an ideal for which I am prepared to die." On June 12, 1964, Mandela and 7 others were sentenced to life imprisonment. Mandela was sent to Robben Island, where he would spend the next 18 years. Life on Robben Island was harsh, with long days of hard labor in a lime quarry. Despite the conditions, Mandela continued his education and became a mentor to younger prisoners. He was later transferred to Pollsmoor Prison in 1982 and then to Victor Verster Prison in 1988. Throughout his imprisonment, Mandela became a powerful symbol of resistance. The slogan "Free Nelson Mandela" became a rallying cry around the world. International pressure on the South African government grew steadily. In 1985, President P.W. Botha offered to release Mandela if he renounced violence. Mandela refused, saying, "Only free men can negotiate. Prisoners cannot enter into contracts." As the apartheid system began to crumble, secret negotiations between Mandela and the government began. On February 11, 1990, after 27 years in prison, Nelson Mandela walked free. His release was broadcast around the world, marking a new era for South Africa. Mandela immediately resumed his leadership role in the ANC. He led negotiations with President F.W. de Klerk to end apartheid and establish multiracial elections. In 1993, Mandela and de Klerk were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for their efforts. The following year, South Africa held its first democratic elections. On May 10, 1994, Nelson Mandela was inaugurated as the country's first black president. As president, Mandela focused on national reconciliation and economic development. He established the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to investigate human rights abuses during apartheid. Mandela chose to serve only one term as president, stepping down in 1999. In retirement, he remained active in various social and political causes. He became a prominent voice in the fight against HIV/AIDS, especially after his son died from the disease in 2005. Mandela also continued to work for peace and social justice around the world. In his later years, Mandela's health began to decline. He made his last public appearance at the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. On December 5, 2013, Nelson Mandela passed away at the age of 95. His death was mourned around the world, with leaders and ordinary people alike paying tribute to his legacy. Nelson Mandela's life story is a testament to the power of perseverance, forgiveness, and the human spirit. From a village boy to a global icon, his journey inspired millions and changed the course of history. As we reflect on Mandela's life, let's ask ourselves, how can we carry forward his legacy of justice and reconciliation? If you found this video inspiring, please hit that like button and share it with others. Don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating life stories of world-changing individuals. Until next time, remember Mandela's words, "It always seems impossible until it's done."